SiNG Collective friends, how's it going?
Hey,
What's up, Josh?
What's up?
Good to see y'all. I'm happy to be here with you for our second SiNG in Place online concert. Joshua Vana here from ARTivism Virginia, co-director and musical director of the SiNG Collective, and we've got a great program tonight here for you. On my left is Lainey Sullivan coming to you from Richmond, Virginia, one half of the famed duo Holy River, and keys and vocal extraordinaire. Hey, Lainey.
Hi.
On my right, coming to you from Charlottesville, Virginia, is our Sunbus Maestro, technical whiz, banjo bass and all things, solar player, Graham Smith-White. Hey, Graham.
Hey, how's it going?
We've got Gabe Gavin also coming to you from Charlotte, our basement and Riduru. Hey, Gabe.
Good to see you.
We've got Kay Ferguson, co-director, ARTivism Virginia, also coming to you from Charlottesville. Hey, Kay.
Hi.
Our wonderful Bernadette, BJ Lark, all the way from Roanoke, Virginia, bringing it to you with a lot of volume and a lot of soul. BJ, how's it going?
Hey, Josh. Hello, everyone out there. Thank you for joining us.
We've got Camry Harris, our drummer, coming to you all the way from Southside Martinsville, Virginia. Hey, Camry.
What's up, everybody?
And last but not least, a multi-instrumentalist, rather, a jack of all trades, maybe an after jack of all trades, our vocal arranger and keyboardist was Miss Emily Blankenship-Tucker, who is going to be our MC for the evening. Hey, Emily, how's it going?
Hi everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. This is our second SiNG in Place, and it is Earth Week, and we are so glad to be here with you and be here all together. We've got some special guests tonight, so thanks for joining us. Stay tuned.
All right, right on. Thanks, everybody. And here we go.
Hi everybody, welcome to the SiNG in Place concert number 2. Welcome back. We're so glad that you've joined us. I'm Emily Blankenship-Tucker. I'm a member of the SiNG Collective, and I am your MC for this evening. I am coming to you from my home in Ferrum, Virginia. I'm here with my family, my wife Rachel, our son Silas Henry, and we're doing really well. We have no shortage of projects to do because we have a garden in the spring and a farm, and we stayed out early morning this morning before dawn, watching the shooting stars falling, and we're just really glad to have this time together and glad to be healthy and thinking of all of you. So here we are. The SiNG in Place is a project of ARTivism Virginia, which has been working to provide a supported connection between artists and activists in Virginia's fight for climate justice. And the SiNG Collective is a project of that. We're a group of artists working to support the soundtrack visually and audibly to that movement in Virginia. The SiNG in Place concert series was created to provide an opportunity for all of us to be energized and organized even while we are all staying safe at home. And we're so glad that you all have joined us. And this is the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. So during our concert tonight, hopefully we'll all be considering and remembering how far we've come and how far we still have to go. First up, it is my great pleasure to introduce my dear friend, Bernadette BJ Lark, and she's joined tonight by a new friend of the SiNG Collective, Angelicia Rogers. Angelicia's coming to us from New York City. She is currently pursuing her master's degree in jazz performance in Durham, North Carolina, and the two of them are going to perform Somebody's Hurting My Brother.
Hello out there. Thank you again for joining us in concert this week. My name is Bernadette B.J. Brown Lark, and just a quick update. I am sheltering in place here in Roanoke, Virginia, with my family at home, and I'm glad and grateful to report that we are doing well. I hope the same for you and your loved ones. On tonight, we will be sharing a piece, a contribution entitled Somebody's Hurting My Brother by Yar Allen. I have a very special guest tonight, Angelisha Rogers, who is also sheltering in place at home in the Bronx, New York. She is a phenomenal trumpetist and wonderful sister friend of mine. I am on djembe, and she is, of course, on trumpet and helping also with background vocals. So we hope you all enjoy and stay safe. Somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on for too long. Said it's gone on for too long. Said it's gone on for too long. Somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on for too long. And we won't be silent anymore. Somebody's hurting our sister, and it's gone on for too long. Said it's gone on for too long. Said it's gone on for too long. Somebody's hurting my sister, and it's gone on for too long. And we won't be silent anymore. Somebody's poisoning our water, and it's gone on for too long. Said it's gone on for too long. Said it's gone on for too long. Oh, somebody's poisoning our water, and it's gone on for too long. And we won't be silent anymore. Somebody's hurting my people, and it's gone on for too long. Said it's gone on for too long. Said it's gone on for too long. Somebody's hurting my people, and it's gone on for too long. And
Thank you so much, BJ and Angelisha. That was amazing. If you'd like to know more about Angelisha Rogers' music, she is currently working on a new EP, and you can find her on Facebook at facebook.com/trumpetessmusic, and you can check out all the links in the description below this video. So next up, it is my honor to introduce 4 members of the collective coming at you collaboratively. We have Gabe Gavin on the bass, our own Camry Harris on the drums, the technical director of the SiNG Collective, Graham Smith White, and the co-director of ARTivism Virginia and music director of the SiNG Collective, Joshua Vana. Okay, now.
Hey friends out there, Joshua Vana here from ARTivism Virginia. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. I hope everyone out there is staying safe and healthy and as sane as possible. I've been trying to stay sane myself by playing a lot of music, and I've been lucky to do that remotely with my bandmates in the SiNG Collective, and we've been sharing some songs. And I thought it would be cool to share an old one with you. A lot of y'all out there are probably familiar with it. It's a song originally known as I Shall Not Be Moved, and then was adopted by a couple different movements and became known as We Shall Not Be Moved. Appeared around the turn of the 20th century and has roots as an African-American spiritual, and was adopted by the labor movement in the 30s and the civil rights movement in the 50s and 60s, and has just become a song of such a rich and deep and beautiful history. And I've been singing it a little bit, showing up to fight these pipelines over the last couple years, and it's a song that lends itself wonderfully to adding your own lyrics. The best folk songs are good for that. And just adding a few words of your own to speak to your particular struggle. This is a song that has done that countless times all across the world, as so many groups of people tell their own truth and their own struggle. So We Shall Not Be Moved, a wonderful song. I learned it most intimately from a Mavis Staples record called We'll Never Turn Back, and if you haven't heard it, you should go listen to it. Mavis Staples, a wonderful human being, and we're all lucky to have her. So I am joined by my bandmates Gabe and Camry and Graham on this one, and I hope you enjoy.
Hey everybody, this is Graham from the SiNG Collective. I'm here in Charlottesville, sheltering in place. Looking forward to playing some banjo on this tune. Check it out.
We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the wall. Order, we shall not be moved. When our burden's heavy, we shall not be moved. When our burden's heavy, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the wall. Order, we shall not be moved. We're fighting for our mountains, we shall not be moved. Fighting for our mountains, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the wall. Order, we shall not be moved. We're standing for our rivers, we shall not be moved. Stand a tree that's planted by the wall. Order, we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's planted by the wall. Ordered, we shall not be moved.
Thanks, you guys. That was awesome. If you'd like to hear more from those members of our collective, make sure you check out Camry drummer Harris on Facebook.com. Joshua Vana was recently featured on lead guitar on Nora Jane Strother's newest release called Bright Lights, Long Drives, First Words. Gabe Gavin is a member of the Positive Collective, which is a Charlottesville-based band performing ska, reggae, and world music, and also the Bhakti Boys. And of course, Graham Smith-White is involved in all kinds of musical projects, including our very own Sun Bus. Next up, I would like to introduce a very special guest. We're so honored to have her as part of our Sun Sing in Place concert, the poet Leah Naomi Green. She's coming to us from Rockbridge County, Virginia. Her first book of poetry, entitled The More Extravagant Feast, was recently selected for the Walt Whitman Award from the American Academy of Poets. Please welcome Leah Naomi Green.
My name is Leah Naomi Green. I have just taped my phone to a tree, and I am going to read you 2 poems from my book, The More Extravagant Feast, out this month from Grey Wolf Press. Field Guide to the Chaparral. The fire beetle, which only mates when the chaparral is burning, and the water beetle, which will only mate in the rain. In the monastery kitchen, the nuns don't believe me when I tell them how old I am, that you were married before. The woman you find attractive does not believe me when I look at her kindly. There are candescent people in the world. It will only be love that I love you with. When we get home, there will be our kitchen, the dishes undone, there will be our bedroom. What is it you eventually recognized in my face that allowed you to believe me? Beauty that did not come from you. Remember how it did not come from you, as white sage does not come from the moon, but is found by it and lit. The Buddhists say that the front of the paper cannot exist without the back, because there is a there is a here, chaparral, the density of growth, and the tattered chaps the mappers wore through it because they had to keep walking without being hurt. It is okay if we hurt one another. Chaparral needs fire. The pine cones cannot open otherwise. Love needs lover, whose last lover was flood. I'll read you a second poem and a final poem. This one's from our local ecosystem here in Virginia. The More Extravagant Feast. The buck is thawing a halo on the frosted ground, shot in our field pre-dawn. Last night we pulled a float in the Christmas parade. It was lit by 1,000 tiny lights. My daughter rode in my lap and was thrilled when the float followed us. Ours is a small town, and everyone was there. Their faces, not seeing ours, fixed behind us, were an open sea, a compound sea of seas that parted under our gaze, and Santa was bright. Though my daughter shied from the noise of him, she studied the red and white fur of his suit. She woke this morning when the rifle fired outside. I lifted her to see the sunrise, and her father, kneeling above the buck's body in the middle distance. She asked if they would be cold. I brought him gloves and warm water, knelt with him in the spare light by the buck who steamed, whose liver and heart, kept so long dark, spilled onto the winter grass, whose open eyes saw none of it, realized nothing of my husband's knife, slicing open his abdomen, his rectum. The puncture of his diaphragm startled me more than the gunshot, opening a cavern of blood that poured over his white belly. I did not understand the offering, but loved it. The fur red, white, incoherent, somehow cleaner. When I come back in, she asks me to draw a picture of her father on the hill. I pick her up. The miracle of her lungs that grew inside me, kept long dark, her working heart let out into the rounder world, the more extravagant feast. The miracle of her dad on the hill as we draw him in his big coat warm. Afterward, how he and I hold each other differently, feeling the collections of muscles and organs held somehow together. The miracle of bodies formed whole like fruits, skins unruptured and containing the world.
Thank you so much. We're so honored to have you. Please make sure that you check out leahnaomigreen.com and support the work of the artists who are supporting the work of ARTivism. It is my honor to welcome back to the stage Gabe Gavin. He is joining us with some original music in collaboration with his bandmate Greg Ward. The two of them work together in the Positive Collective. Take it away, Gabe and Greg.
Hey everybody, this is Gabe. Here at my home studio in Ivy. I hope this finds you well, and thank you for joining us for the second Sun Sing in Place concerts. I'm really excited to jump into this next song. It's an original song by my friend and bandmate Greg Ward. We've played together for many years, and I've always loved his original material. He brings a lot of consciousness and poignancy to his lyrics and songwriting. And this one is one of my favorites of his. It's called Love is the Solution. So let's get to it.
We need to come together in these times with love as the solution. We can't create a solution using the same mindsets that got us in the first place. Love is the solution to all of these man-made complications. Love is the solution to all of these international problems. Love is the solution to all of these man-made complications. Love is the solution to all of these international problems. People looking for patience with the heart that began all these complications today. If you see a need, fill that need. You can't go on in life fulfilling no greed. What you'll feed is what you'll heed. Want a better life, got to plant good seeds, yeah. Love is the solution to all of these man-made complications. Love is the solution to all of these international problems. Love is the solution to all of these man-made complications. Love is the solution to all of these international problems. Yeah.
Thank you, Gabe and Greg. Be sure to check out the Bhakti Boys, the Positive Collective, and you can find more of Greg's music at Greg Ward Music on ReverbNation.com. Next up, we have an update from Russell Chisholm, who is a longtime organizer and the lead of Mountain Valley Watch, which is an arm of Power, protecting our water heritage rights in Southwest Virginia. Russell is involved in all kinds of other community support these days. He's organized the Southwest Virginia Tip Jar, which supports communities impacted by COVID-19. And he's also, along with his coffee roasting company, created Strange Frequencies, which is a collection of live streams of artists and musicians in Southwest Virginia. So welcome, Russell.
Hey friends out there, thanks so much for joining us for our second edition of Sun Sing in Place, an online concert series from ARTivism Virginia. Hope you've been enjoying the program so far. We are so lucky to have with us Russell Chisholm, who is the coordinator for Mountain Valley Watch and co-chair of the Power Coalition. Hey Russell, how's it going?
It's going pretty good, Josh. I'm up here on the top of Sinking Creek Mountain on the right-of-way, holding it down virtually. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I just would advise you, Russell. I'm sure you're aware of the risk you're taking right now, but just watch out for MVP security up there. It
So
must
far-
be windy. That must explain the sort of the screen you're on here. But yeah, thanks so much for joining us. I'm doing okay. I've been quarantined here in Charlottesville for a month now, over a month. Starting to lose track of time a little bit, but doing okay and feeling really lucky to be spending so much time with friends and also staying in touch with my bandmates and folks like you as well. So thanks so much for making the time. I was wondering if you're, as you're with us here, if you could tell folks out there a little bit about the work that you're doing with Mountain Valley Watch and maybe a little bit of background on the Power Coalition.
Yeah, definitely. So Power Coalition is, of course, a network basically of frontline grassroots groups that initially formed up really at the very local and county level, from where the project starts up in Wetzel, all the way through West Virginia and down into the Virginia section. So West Virginia, unfortunately, is saddled with a full 2/3 of this route. But for the counties like mine, I'm in Giles. When the project was announced, people saw an immediate need to start organizing against it, but also to connect up with other groups across the mountains. So some really incredible people worked very hard to put all that together, and here we are basically 6 years along, still going at it.
Still
And it's
going
still
at
not
it.
built.
For our viewers out there, I'm going to go ahead and share on my screen the Mountain Valley Watch page. So tell us a little bit about your monitoring work with Mountain Valley Watch, Russell.
Yeah. So again, this is a project that brought in a lot of expert level understanding of what a project like this was going to look like in the field, to be able to connect those expert minds with volunteers who are willing to go out and keep an eye on construction as it got underway. People who are very, very familiar with the land, farmers and people who have lived here for a long time, and as well as other organizers, people who could bring some technology to it, like Jason Shelton, Catherine Wilkin, who do so much work on the back end, making sure that the maps get updated, making sure volunteer submissions to erosion failures or the other sort of harms that we're documenting out there get submitted and then passed along, hopefully to regulators to work on the enforcement side of it. So it's very much volunteer driven, but supported by a lot of hardworking people that bring that expertise to it. And right now we're in a very strange place because we're under a stay-at-home order. But again, remember, this project crosses a lot of areas that people live on and are close to these streams and wetlands that they're trying to keep an eye on. So we're still able to do some of that work and communicate with each other remotely as it plays out.
And we'd like to, just send you and all the volunteer folks and all the folks at Power, just a huge thank you for all the, the countless hours of, planning and organization and just the hours out in the field of, going to, remote rural sections of West Virginia and Virginia and really trying to hold MVP accountable here. Russell, so besides your work with the Power Coalition, fighting MVP for, several years now and community organizing in Southwest Virginia and getting folks in West Virginia connected to resources. You're also in this time of the stressful time of COVID-19, the pandemic. You've also taken on some additional work with supporting folks across Southwest Virginia with a Southwest Virginia tip jar. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so most folks know that I'm a coffee roaster by trade. Spent about 15 years behind the counter slinging drinks for people. So when the pandemic when we really started to understand exactly what we were up against and the impact that it was going to have locally, I'm very close to Blacksburg and Virginia Tech. A lot of restaurants, coffee shops, and bars suddenly without their normal traffic flows, no customers coming in, a lot of places forced to shut down. And you saw fundraisers and other different efforts popping up to try to help support those businesses, and the workers, unfortunately, could get left out of that conversation a little bit. So having that background, I started poking around and I saw these virtual tip jars popping up in other, big cities and that kind of thing. And down here in a rural area where we're more spread out, we have people that are working their way through school. This might be their primary source of income. And I think that we just wanted to duplicate those efforts that we were seeing happening elsewhere and pull it in, for the whole region. So that's why we set it up, not targeting necessarily one town or community, but all across Southwest Virginia. The workers found the list thanks to people sharing it on social media and started signing themselves up. And then immediately from the folks that were sharing it around came this call for kind of developing a pooled effort so that we could make sure that everybody on there got something right away. And so we added an additional pool, which now has raised over $11,000 that we've just been basically sending out as people sign up and trying to send it out equitably to everybody on the list. And then, Catherine Wilkin, who's Power's coordinator, also has spent a fair amount of time behind the bar. And, we were able to work together remotely to duplicate that effort for the Roanoke area, and another one was launched from that. So it's just, the pipeline fight has been so much about defending what we love, fighting for each other, standing up for each other, and building community around that effort. This is basically the same thing, and we had networks of people that were willing to jump on and get the word out there. So it's been incredible to watch it unfold. Obviously, what we would like to see is people being able to get back to work, make a living wage, not live paycheck to paycheck, change that whole system.
Yeah.
Much like we're trying to change the whole energy system.
Yep.
But that's going to take a lot more work, and we'll just have to keep going until we get there.
It seems like we have no choice. We just got to keep working until we win. Russell, just again, thank you so much for the work that you are doing, and thanks so much for joining us and taking a few minutes to tell us about the work you're doing. For folks tuning in, if you'd like to get connected with Mountain Valley Watch, you can find their website below. They're also on Facebook, and Power is too. And we've also got the link up to the Southwest Virginia tip jar if you'd like to find a path to get involved in some good old-fashioned mutual aid for Southwest Virginia.
Yeah.
And we've seen that, much like the pipeline fight against MVP, against ACP, that mutual aid in these situations is just so crucial. We need to just find ways to show up for each other, and that's exactly what y'all are doing. So thanks so much for tuning in with us from the top of the mountain, Russell. It's exciting to see you all the way up there.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it. I want to thank the musicians, everybody that's been involved in this project. I think it gives people something to look forward to, these different live streams and the different stuff that y'all are trying to do just to keep lifting people up. It's really fantastic, and I personally am grateful for it. The isolation can be a bit much, so it's really, really good to be able to jump on here with you and see your face, and it's good, time well spent. So hope to see you out there soon. Up here.
Yeah, out there in the real world, sometime soon. Not just a bunch of ones and zeros,
That's right.
But and well, the feeling is mutual, and Russell, just thanks again so much, and continue doing the good work you're doing, and thanks again to all the volunteers with Mountain Valley Watch and the Power Coalition, and we're with y'all, and we'll continue to find ways to support all the good work that you're doing. So
awesome.
Russell, I'll let you go here and let you get back to your monitoring up there. Careful on your way down, and we'll check in with you soon.
Sounds great. Thanks a lot, Josh.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Russell, for that update. Make sure that you look for the Mountain Valley Watch, Power, the Southwest Virginia Tip Jar, and Strange Frequencies. Again, all the links are in the description below. Next, I am very delighted to introduce my friend and collaborator in the SiNG Collective, Lainey Sullivan. She's joined this evening by her partner, Jameson Price, and the two of them are performing as Holy River. Welcome.
Hi everyone, welcome. We're so grateful that you're spending time with us this evening. And I'm Lainey Sullivan, and this is my partner Jameson Price. He's rocking the SiNG t-shirt, and together we're a band called Holy River. And we're gonna play a song for you all called Standing Like a Tree, and it's originally by a woman named Betsy Rose, who's an artist and activist and songwriter. So thank you, Betsy, for writing this song and letting us use it for the movement here in Virginia to protect our environment. Standing like a tree with my roots stuck down, my branches wide and open. Standing like a tree.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this evening. We've got lots more music and lots more great stuff for you this evening, so make sure that you stay tuned. Next up, I would like to introduce two very special guests to our program. Joining us from Richmond, Virginia, Jessica Sims, who is the Community Outreach Coordinator and Stop the Pipelines campaign lead for Sierra Club's Virginia chapter. And Jessica is joined this evening by Gabby Gillespie from Big Stone Gap. Gabby is the outreach representative from Sierra Club Southwest Virginia. They're here this evening to tell us about Invest Virginia, which is an organization across Virginia that is pushing to encourage financial institutions to divest from fossil fuel companies and projects and to invest in innovative community outreach initiatives and build a better, more sustainable economic future. Welcome, Jessica and Gabby.
Hey there, this is Jessica Sims.
And Gabby Gillespie, and we're the coordinators of Invest Virginia, a coalition of community groups doing investment work and building visions of reinvestment in alternative economies to serve the people.
We also both work for the Sierra Club, and our work focuses on the harmful impacts of fossil fuel infrastructure in Virginia. We're so happy to be here with y'all this evening for the SiNG in Place Thursday night bi-weekly concert series, and we hope that you and your loved ones are safe and well.
Thank you to ARTivism and the SiNG Collective for letting us be a part of this evening. Today we hosted a webinar bringing together community organizers and members to talk about the importance of divestment and community investment work and some of the ways the speakers have seen success in their local campaigns. We heard from Austin Sachs with Protect Us, Lee Williams of Divest RVA, and Rick Shingles of the New River Valley group of the Sierra Club. They're among many across Virginia who are doing important outreach, educational work, and divestment actions to strengthen their communities.
Divestment, or the removal of funds from financial institutions that actively finance fossil fuel projects, is a great way to take action in the fight against climate change. Big banks like Wells Fargo and Bank of America fund the companies behind dangerous pipelines like Mountain Valley Pipeline and Atlantic Coast Pipeline and others. Those projects threaten Indigenous rights, our climate, and our communities. In the past 4 years, banks have financed fossil fuel projects with over $1.9 trillion. And even now, the federal government is considering subsidies and bailouts for those fossil fuel companies. Accountability is a must, and accountability is needed at every level for the decisions of financial institutions.
We need a new economy that prioritizes investment in communities over corporations and fossil fuels and looks out for the needs of vulnerable communities who are often disproportionately impacted by human rights abuses that come with these projects. In Virginia, new fossil fuel infrastructure like the Mountain Valley and Atlantic Coast pipelines threaten the air and water of communities across the state and would result in destroyed waterways and millions of tons of new greenhouse gas emissions. Financial institutions must rescind their support for these damaging projects and instead invest in communities of the Commonwealth. Divestment and community investment work is happening all over the Commonwealth, locally, regionally, and statewide. So how can you take next steps, Jess?
For divestment, first, you can research what your financial institution supports. From fossil fuel companies to private prisons, the support from banks speaks to what they value and prioritize. 2, you can consider changing your personal bank to one that supports community investment like a credit union or a locally based bank. If those are not available in your area, you can still talk to your local branch or their headquarters about your concerns. And 3rd, research where your local government or school does their financing and talk to local treasurers, elected officials, or university boards to learn more.
When it comes to community investment, you can, 1, hold a community forum to vision and assess issues and consider solutions. You can map the financial institutions and investments in your area, or you could explore new economic models and projects that could benefit your community. Gather your folks and vision together. We believe it's not ethical to fund these projects when the facts are clear that they will hurt our local communities and the projects contribute to climate change. Institutions have the power to shift their directions of these projects and focus on more equitable community investments. that would not be detrimental to the health of their customers. Even if financial contracts are already in place, you can communicate how grateful you would be if your bank would cease involvement with these new contracts, or if they examine the current relationships they have with the companies that create frack gas pipelines.
Gabby and I are excited to tell you about an upcoming event that we have on May 22nd. It's a lunch and learn about divestment and community investment. You can visit vasierra.club/investva to RSVP and learn more.
It's the first anniversary of our campaign launch last year on May 22nd. So we're really excited to celebrate that with y'all. And we'd love to hear about your interest in divestment and reinvestment work and what you're doing to empower your community. You can reach out to us at investvirginia@gmail.com or find us on Facebook at Invest Virginia to continue this conversation. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Jessica and Gabby, for being here. Next, we'd like to revisit a video from the archives of ARTivism Virginia, which has been working for 3 years to connect artists and activists in the fight for climate justice in Virginia. Our next video features our very special musical guest for this evening, Emily Roby Morrison. And in 2017, a group of artists met to consider how they might support the fight against fossil fuel infrastructure in Virginia, which led to Walking the Line into the heart of Virginia, which was a walk along the proposed Atlantic Coast pipeline route. Obviously, lots has happened since then, and you can check out many more ARTivism Virginia videos if you visit ARTivism Virginia on YouTube. This is the second video in a series of 3 that was created during that time. So I'm on the Mountain, the second sing.
All right, I'm ready. Y'all ready? Here we go. So I'm on the mountain, reap 'em in the valley. Repeat it. So I'm on the mountain, reap 'em in the valley. So I'm on the mountain, reap 'em in the valley. You're gonna reap just what you sow. You're gonna reap just what you sow. If you've been fracking, you better quit your fracking. If you've been fracking, you better quit your fracking. If you've been fracking, you better quit your fracking. You're gonna reap just what.
They are saying you are not alone. This deal is not done. This Atlantic Coast pipeline will not be built. This Mountain Valley pipeline will not be built.
If you've been standing, keep on standing. You're gonna reap just what you sow. So I'm on the mountain. So I'm on the mountain. Like you've never sung it before.
Add your voice, your energy, your help, and your hope, because together we can protect our land and our children, because together we can reap just what we choose to sow.
You're gonna reap just what you sow. You're gonna reap just what you sow.
Next, it is my great honor to introduce my friend Emily Roby Morrison. Originally from my hometown of Ferrum, Virginia, Emily has been living in Charlottesville, Virginia since 2000. She's a longtime supporter of ARTivism Virginia and works tirelessly as a musician and as an educator. Emily is the founder and director of The Front Porch, which is a music venue and school in Charlottesville, presenting roots music instruction and concerts. They're currently presenting musical instruction and Save the Music concerts online. Please make her welcome, along with her wonderful brothers, Emily Roby Morrison.
Some people cheat. Some people cheat, they steal and lie for wealth and what it will buy. But don't they know on the judgment day all the gold and silver will melt away. What good is gold? What good is gold and silver too? If your heart's not good and true, sinner, hear me when I say you better get down on your knees and pray. I'd rather be in a deep dark grave and know that my poor soul was saved than to live in this world in a house of gold and deny my God and lose my soul. Some people cheat, they steal and lie for wealth and what it will buy. But don't they know on the judgment day all the gold and silver will melt away. Sinner, hear me when I say you better get down on your knees and pray.
Thank you so much, Emily. It's been such a pleasure to have you. Next, I would like to introduce Joshua Vana, coming to us live from Virginia ARTivism headquarters in Charlottesville, Virginia. And he's going to tell us about an action item that lets us know how each of us can help fight the VNG Header Improvement Project, which is another proposal to bring dangerous fossil fuel infrastructure into Virginia. If you'd like to know more, you can visit the Virginia Pipeline Resistance Movement, and you can find those links in the description below. Welcome, JV.
Hey y'all, Joshua Vana here from ARTivism again. I'd like to let you know about a quick action opportunity that from wherever you are, staying at home, you can jump in to the resistance here in Virginia to further unneeded and dangerous frack gas infrastructure projects. There is a proposed project called the Virginia Natural Gas Header Improvement Project that is up for debate with the State Corporation Commission right now. It involves 3 different 30-inch pipelines going from Fauquier County to Charles City County and would feed the C4GT frack gas power plant that is also unneeded and dangerous. It would run through dozens of rivers and streams. It would endanger more than 100 acres of wetlands, and this is a project that is going to also saddle Virginia natural gas customers with unneeded costs above $20 million. So the SEC is taking comments on this project right now until April 28th. So if you could scroll down on this page and check out all the links and information we have below. The Virginia Pipeline Resistors are running an event on Facebook right now. That link is there, and they have sample comments for you to submit to the SEC. And this is something that's going to take all of us. So MVP, ACP, MVP Southgate, and No HIP, add your name to the list. And please check out the links below for some quick action. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for joining us, everyone. I hope that you have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week for the Street Sing Workshop and then another Sun Sing in Place concert the following week. Thanks again. Be safe, be well. A special shout out to my wife, Rachel, for taking this video. I'm going to end with a song that I wrote a little over a year ago, and I've been performing it with my band After Jack. And we intend for it to go in our next record, which was supposed to be in pre-production last week. So that time will come. But I wanted to include this tonight because I wrote it for my son, Silas Henry. And I was thinking about how I want him to live a long, full life and get really old. And I hope that when he's faced with choices about making a new way versus thinking about doing things that he thinks I would want him to do or living in a way that he thinks that I would live, I hope that he makes choices to move forward and do what's best for him. And I think that in many ways, the same applies to us all now. The lyric in the song is, "When the waters rise, swim away from the shore." And I hope that collectively we can do that we can say goodbye to old ways of doing things, and the waters have risen. Let's all swim away from the shore together. So thanks again. This is called Queen. My darling, my baby, my sweet child, I'll hold you in my arms just a little while. But when the time comes for you to make tracks, be wild, my love, and don't look back. When the waters rise, swim away from the shore. You are strong enough, I'm certain. Remember who you are. Can't go back to where you started when you get downstream. But the future is feminine, and your mom is a queen. Some babies are born with a silver spoon in hand. Some grow up to own 1,000 acres of land. You've got your gift that's been passed down the line. You come from a family that lives a long time. When the waters rise, swim away from the shore. You are strong enough, I'm certain. Remember who you are. Can't go back to where you started when you get downstream. But the future is feminine, and your mama's a queen. Don't you weep for me, 'cause the future is feminine, and your mama's a queen. Keep your head above the water till the rivers join together. When the current is swift, let go. There will be others downstream when you're finally of what you think you know. When the waters rise, swim away from the shore. You are strong enough, I'm certain. Remember who you are. Can't go back to where you started when you get downstream. Just tell everyone you meet there that your mom is a queen. Keep your head up, baby, and remember me. The future is feminine, and
Your mama's a queen. Good night.
Thank you so much, everybody. That's our show for tonight. Thanks again for joining us. Make sure you find us on the ARTivism Virginia Facebook page. Come join us next week for our Street Sing workshop and follow us for more Sun Sing in Place performances. Stay safe, stay healthy. See you then.